Hello and welcome to the Queber channel. I am Jason, your host. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Backups upon backups upon backups. As you know, I live my life through coping strategies, and part of that is having backups for every single situation. But you can never account for all situations. It's from the mundane of having a backup for my hard drive to let me explain something. If you have a storage drive attached to your primary network, that is not a backup. It is part of your system. What affects your primary system can affect it too. It is not a backup. Now, if you only plugged in for like an hour once a month, and you actually transferred your files to it, then you disconnected it and kept it somewhere safe, that is a backup. That's the difference. I have so many backups in this house. I can have a complete network attached storage that has 40 terabytes worth of space on it that is not connected in any way, that isn't plugged in, that is turned off and is just sitting there as an ultimate backup to my storage. I have multiple old drives that I've put copies of my documents in and kept them in different safe areas. But today we're going to talk about what I class as my apocalypse backups. Beyond all the normal things, you see, I have my main computer here. This is my normal computer. This is my primary one. I don't expect this to survive an apocalypse in any way, shape or form. And by apocalypse, I don't mean a zombie apocalypse or anything like that, although whatever. But I'm talking about a personal apocalypse. Let's say a lightning strike hit my house and fried everything connected to the network, totally burnt out this computer. And that's a given. I'd expect that to happen. So I have multiple backups. I have a good electricity system. I have surge protectors, but there's always a chance that things are going to jump from one to another and do damage. So beyond all of this stuff that's connected, I have another layer. But when it comes to computers, I have two purely apocalypse backups. I have disaster equipment, which is my ThinkPad. I can pick that up and pick up the I can pick up that on my tablet and go off, and I've basically got everything I need to do massive amounts of my stuff. But because of the way my brain works, I have to go beyond those basics. So what have I got as my ultimate backups? Okay, this is one of them. This is a sort of a fireproof. It's a fireproof and EMP proof, electromagnetic energy pulse proof bag, like a tiny mini Faraday cage in here. Now what's in here? This is my military toughness grade Toshiba laptop tablet tank. And seriously, it is. I mean, these things are built to last and to do anything. They are amazing. If we just... It's basically a laptop, but if you press the release button, I need to just push it across with both hands because it is not thingy. Now it is a tablet with a stylus and it runs fine like that. It is up to military standard for massive amount of things. It's usable. It has games on it as well as everything else. It can do all the bits and pieces I automatically do with it, but it's also able to handle RPG Maker Banes. I've even played The Long Dark on this. It can plug it into my HDMI cable and put up a good quality monitor on it and that. It's touchscreen. It's a Toughbook. It's Panasonic Toughbook CF19. A beautiful piece of kit. Now, so this is one of them, and this has Windows 10 on it. As funny as it sounds, even though this one's a 2013-2014 model, it is, because it has the built-in TPM, it is actually compatible with Windows 11. But yeah, that is the Panasonic CF19. It's got 16 gigs of RAM. It's got a 2 terabyte SSD in it, and yeah, I upgraded the wireless on it, so that is one of the items. That is like shit gets real, and that gets kept, of course, in this bag, and then it gets kept inside my big trunk over here, my metal officer's trunk from World War II, which is a solid metal container that will basically last through anything. So that's where that is kept. And the other thing is this. This is a more modern one. This, once again, it's kept inside this bag. This is my little hat book. This is a Dell Latitude. I bought this off eBay for £18. It was broke. It had no memory. It had no drive in it. It wasn't functioning. It came with no charger. It didn't have a battery. So I redid this, reset it up, and it now runs Pymega software, which is a GUI and thing. It basically turns a Linux derivative into a Amiga operating system. So it can go on the internet and everything. It's pretty damn good as well. It's just an old one that I grabbed, which are wonderful. I love these kind of setups. I mean, I put all my stickers on it and everything. So those two systems together provide the ultimate part of backups for me. I'm very happy to have them. They get brought out, I'd say once every 2 months to recharge the batteries on them, update the software, update any games or any piece of thingy, add a few more files from the storage drive onto them, and just basically just keep them in that state in case they are ever needed. So, yeah. People think like when I get rid of my things like my Steam Deck that what happens to his backups and that. But seriously, the amount of backups upon backups I have in this, let's count them down. Okay, so we've got my primary computer here, which is the main computer where I do everything, a massive amount of my coping strategy. I've got my Valve Index connected to it. Over there I've got not only have I got a original HM Vive that still works, that can be connected in. if the index stops working, but I've also got a Quest 3 sitting over there, charged and ready for use, and that can be used independently or it can be used through the computer. So I have a massive amount of backups just there. Then I have my ThinkPad next there, which is at the moment working as my network attack storage and my Plex, and that doing very well. I'm going to switch it out with one of my other computers at some point in time, because I like to switch them out and see what works. At that point in time, that can be used with an eGPU, which has got an 8 gig 3060 in, which seems to be a sweet spot through the 40 gig. At some point in time, I'm going to increase that to a 4060 Ti, the 16 gig thing for you. Anything more than that, I mean, I tested the 3090 and it was too much power, too much bandwidth trying to go through the USB 4. So I've got that. I've got my tablet, of course. I've got 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 phones, and that is counting an old one, my old Xperia one. No, 5 phones including that. I've got my iPhone 11, which I use there as the camera. I've got my Samsung S20 Founders Edition, which I use as my everyday, and I even have my phone that is going to replace the Samsung when it finally completely breaks, because like I've shown before, my Samsung is not doing too well. It has damage to the screen. The battery doesn't last as long. If you can see in that corner, you can see where it's lifted up. And yep, one of these days the actual fingerprint reader on the screen right next to that is going to stop working, and pretty much that, compared with this, only lasts about 3-4 hours of use now from a full charge, which is not a problem when I'm in the house or when I go out on my normal journeys and that. But yeah, but I have the phone that's going to take its place. It's the Xperia 5.5, well, the V5 or the 5V, whatever. So I've got that to take its place. So I've got backups for that already in place and ready to run as soon as that dies. I don't have to worry about buying anything. I've got downstairs in the living room my EM680 mini PC, which is at the moment being worked on by me because I've installed a version of Linux and I want to see how far I can go with that and how much of my normal stuff it can handle. It can already do all the OBS, all the Discord, it can do a lot of games, and that it can do Steam, that it can run YouTube, all the normal stuff it can do. So I have all that as a backup. So even though I've got rid of a lot of stuff, it was all superfluous to what I needed. I don't keep something if it's not going to be useful. Like, I hadn't really used my Steam Deck as it was a Steam Deck for almost 6 months. And so I had to realise that, okay, I can't do stuff with this at the moment anymore. I may as well get rid of it and use that money for something else. So that's the situation that I find myself in at this moment. Everything is working. I've got backups for everything. I've got backups for my audio, backups for my headphones, backups for my fucking everything, backups for my internet. I have 3 internets. 1, 2, 3 internets. Oh, that is my primary one, which is like cable internet. My secondary one, which is ADSL 2 well, ADSL2 Plus, it's a bit more than that. It's almost, yeah, it is fibre now. It's fibre, that one is. And the third one is a 5G data plan, unlimited data plan, that is also available. I have all of these things usable at a moment's notice if I need them. So yeah, I am pretty happy with all the things I've got when it comes to backups. Of course, remember that I take it to the furthest limit. This isn't just about having backups for safety concerns, it's because if I wake up at 3 o'clock in the night and I want to get back to sleep and my brain says, oh my God, what happens if this happens? I can just say, oh, I've got a backup for that, and go back to sleep. This helps me to deal with that. So yeah, it does have a lot of practical things. I'm always on the lookout for new additions that could add to something. I mean, I would love to have a proper server like a Dell 730 or something like that, but there's no point. There is really no point to me having one. What I've got does everything I want to. I would love to have, and also I might be getting one from a friend of mine for free, and then I will set it up and work on it. But I don't have a need for it at the moment. I am trying to look at everything that I use and make sure I don't actually overdo it. Although if you look at my idea, you'd think it was all overkill, but having all these different things just is a comfort. So, this is Jason for the Quever channel. I'm going to go downstairs and recharge these two and do their bi-monthly update and let them do all their updates and make sure everything's working on them. Because that's always fun. You all take care of yourself.